100 subscribers, I'm going to share with you guys how I became a roller coaster enthusiast. So it all started when I went to Universal Studios and rode Hollywood Rip Red Rocket. So my story is a little bit different than you might think. I did not actually go to Universal. That was just making fun of every coaster enthusiast that goes to Universal and becomes a coaster enthusiast. But I started at Kings Island with the kiddie rides, of course, the Great Pumpkin Coaster, and my favorite was Woodstock Express, but at the time, I hated drops when I was on them, but after I got off the ride, it was like the best thing ever. Like, I wanted to do it again, but while I was on the ride, I hated it at the moment, but when I got back up, like, I loved it. So this still happens today, but it's less like it's more mild, and I really love roller coasters now, so I guess that's a plus. And so as like time goes on, I keep riding the kiddie coasters, but there's one day that I make a big step in riding coasters and going to the next thrill level, and I call this like I'm calling it a big step, even though it's not really a big step, but for me it was. So one day I went to Kings Island, and we had met up with my friend who we didn't even plan that was going to be there, but we just met up, and they had convinced me to get on Adventure Express. Now, being as scared as I was, it took a lot of convincing to get me on this, but once I got on it, I really enjoyed it up until the first lift hill, when I was told there was no hills. When we went up the first lift hill, I was scared to death because I was told there was no hills, and I was like, okay, I can handle this if there's no hills, because I just told you what my situation with hills was before at the time. And so I'm still scared of hills going up this first hill, and the people who convinced me are like, no, it's okay, it just slightly goes down, and I was scared to death, even though you don't even get a hill feeling on Adventure Express's hill. So I don't know what I was thinking, but when I went down the hill, I really enjoyed it, and I just liked the feeling of being on a roller coaster, even though Adventure Express is basically forceless. And this became my favorite ride in the park after I rode it. My favorite part being the, like, somewhat sort of like a helix, but not really. It had the most G-force on the ride, so right here, when you go under the arches, this is my favorite part, and I really came to like this coaster, and this coaster really showed me how fun a roller coaster can be. It was the first click of me starting to enjoy roller coasters and becoming a roller coaster enthusiast. But I soon decided to ride Stunt Coaster, and I don't really remember my first time on it. But some days I didn't want to ride it because of the launch, and some days I did. It just depended on the day, I guess. But this is my first launch coaster, and one of my favorite coasters at the park still, because of it's just a family coaster that's a little bit intense. It's just pretty fun. And so after a year or two of riding Stunt Coaster and Adventure Express only at Kings Island, me and my friends gathered up and decided that we were going to take the next big step in becoming a roller coaster enthusiast. We didn't know at the time, but we just wanted to ride a bigger coaster, so that bigger coaster was the Bat. And so we went to Kings Island on a not busy day, and there was basically no line for the Bat. It was a walk-on. So me and my friends were like, okay, we can do this. So we get in line, and I look at it, and I back out. And then, so they went on and rode it, and they really enjoyed it and really loved it. And I was disappointed in myself, and also jealous that they got to ride it and I chickened out of it. So they invited me to ride it again, and I chickened out again. And I did this about 2 more times before I just said, okay, I'm gonna get on it, I'm gonna ride it, it's gonna be fun. They told me it's fun, the drop isn't even that big, I'm just gonna do it. So I got on, I got in the car, I locked myself in, and we left the station, and I regretted everything once I started going up the lift hill, because I was so so scared. And then once we went down the drop, I immediately thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is so fun. And when we hit the brakes, I was like, what do we do next? Eraser or Mystic Timbers? And so we just ran off of the coaster. We were so excited to ride every coaster in the park. Spoiler alert, we didn't. And so we were headed straight for Mystic Timber. But on the way, we stopped to ride the Racer, which I really liked, except it was a little bit rough. But for my first ride on a bigger coaster, then other than the Bat was like my first big coaster, I consider it. Other than the Bat, this was like my first like real wooden roller coaster, classic wooden roller coaster, so it was fun, I guess. And then we went to Mystic Timbers. So we rode Mystic Timbers, but sadly, later that day, we did not ride every roller coaster in the park because we were pretty scared, and we didn't want to ride everything, but we knew we had made some huge progress on getting, I guess, how you would say, our thrill level up, or our thrill tolerance up, or just riding bigger coasters. So anyways, each coaster was really great, and I really thought, oh my goodness, I really love roller coasters, and I want to ride every coaster in this park. So we waited for a few months, or maybe a year. It was a year later that I rode my next big roller coaster, and that was my first looping coaster, Flight of Fear. I know this was not the best coaster to start out with at all, but I really liked it, and the fact that you can't tell you're going upside down really helped me to just be able to go upside down and accept the fact that I was upside down. But it was really cool that I went upside down and I didn't realize it, and that's how I came to like inverted coasters and inverting coasters, that I really was really scared to ride them, and then I rode Flight of Fear, and it showed me that, wow, this really isn't that bad. You can go ahead and ride inverting coasters. So now, basically, I've caught you guys up to the point where I am now. I've ridden every roller coaster at Kings Island, and I visited Cedar Point. So since I started riding roller coasters, I just started watching YouTube videos and did some research, learned about roller coasters information-wise, manufacturers, and now I have a YouTube channel, so that's how I became an enthusiast. I hope you guys really enjoyed. There is going to be a part 2 to my 100 subscriber special, which I forgot to thank you guys at the beginning of the video for 100 subscribers. I really only thought I was going to get 50, possibly by the end of the year. But it's only May and we have 103, so you guys are one of the most amazing groups out there, and I am glad that you guys are supporting me, and just thank you guys so much. And so the part 2 is going to be not how I became an enthusiast, but why and how I started my YouTube channel, just to give you a follow-up on that, because it is going to, just to give you guys a follow-up video, just to have a little bit more celebration for 100 subscribers. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and thank you guys for 100 subscribers. And this is ElToroRyan. I need to make an outro. Signing off.